Jenin, your feet are wet. They have been wet since before dawn. You crossed the river 3 times to break your scent trail the way you were taught. The cold doesn't matter, the mud doesn't matter. Nothing matters except the target house at the end of this road and the message tucked inside the lining of your sandal. You are 17. This is your first mission alone. Jenin means root, the lowest part of the plant, the part underground that nobody sees. Your trainer said that on your first day. He said most people never grow past it. He said it without cruelty, the way you would say it might rain tomorrow. A fact about the world. You have thought about it every day since. Your kit is simple. A short blade, a length of dark cloth, a pouch of caltrops you have never used in the field, a small vial of medicine for a wound that needs to stay quiet. Everything fits in a bundle no bigger than a farmer's lunch. The scroll is the most dangerous thing you carry, and it looks like nothing at all. Your handler gave you 2 instructions. Deliver the scroll. Don't be seen. He didn't tell you what happens if you fail. He didn't need to. You've watched older Jenin come back wrong, quiet in ways they weren't before. Some didn't come back at all, and nobody mentioned them again. Their sleeping mats were folded and removed, and their names were not spoken. The village is starting to wake. A dog barks 2 streets over. You press yourself into the shadow between 2 buildings and wait. A woman opens a shutter, looks at the sky, closes it again. You count to 30, then you move. The contact's house has a loose stone to the left of the doorframe. You feel for it in the dark. It's there. You press the scroll behind it, and you walk away without looking back. That's the rule. You never look back. Looking back is how you get caught. You're across the bridge before the sun clears the hills. You report to your handler. He listens. He nods once. He tells you to rest. He doesn't say well done. He doesn't say anything else. You go to your mat and you lie there and your hands are still shaking and you don't know if it's the cold or something else. Chunin. The 3 of you have been in this tree for 6 hours. You don't move. You barely breathe. Below, a merchant convoy winds along the road. 12 guards, 2 wagons. The target is in the second wagon. A ledger. Names, payments, the proof your employer needs. You became Chunin 8 months ago. The promotion wasn't a ceremony. Your handler told you at the end of a debrief. You're Chunin now. Lead the next team. That was it. The boy to your left is 15. This is his 3rd mission. He's good. Still. The girl to your right is 19. She's better than you were at her age. You don't tell her that. She doesn't need it yet. The convoy slows at the river crossing. That's your window. You signal with 2 fingers. They move without sound. The girl drops to the near wagon. The boy creates the distraction. A sound from the tree line, a thrown stone, something small and sharp. 3 guards move toward it. You go over the top of the far wagon. Canvas, rope, a crate of dried fish, and there it is. A leather satchel wedged under the driver's seat. You take it. You're back in the tree line in 40 seconds. The convoy moves on. The guards never close ranks. Nobody raises an alarm. On the walk back, the boy asks if you were scared. You tell him to focus on his footwork. He looks at the ground and adjusts his stride. What you don't tell him is yes, every time. If you stop being scared, you stop being careful, and careful is the only thing keeping you alive. Jonin. The mission briefing is 3 sentences. A lord in the eastern province has been passing information to your employer's rival. He needs to stop. The method is your decision. This is what Jonin means. Not just skill, judgment. Any Chunin can follow an order. A Jonin decides what the order should have been. You spend 4 days in the city before you move. You learn his route, his schedule, his habits. He takes tea at the same house every 3rd afternoon. He walks home the same way. He trusts his 2 guards completely. That's his mistake. Trust is a pattern, and patterns are doors. On the 5th day, you're already inside his house when he returns. You're in the rafters of the main room. You've been there for 2 hours. You watch him dismiss his guards for the evening. Watch him pour his wine. Watch him sit at his writing table and open his correspondence. You drop down behind him. He hears you land. He starts to turn. You tell him to be still. He is still. You tell him what you know. You tell him what will happen if it continues. You tell him the man who sent you is patient, but not infinitely so. You leave the proof on his desk so he understands this is not a bluff. Then you leave the way you came. Your employer wanted him dead. You decided a living man who is afraid is worth more than a dead one who can't change his behavior. You'll explain your reasoning at the debrief. If they disagree, they'll send someone else next time. That's their right. You've made peace with the fact that the decisions you make here alone in the dark are the only ones that matter. Jonin Commander. 7 teams, 41 people. You know every name, every strength, every weakness. You know which Genin freezes under pressure and which Chunin takes too many risks when he thinks he's being watched. You know which Jonin hasn't slept properly in 3 months because you can see it in the set of his shoulders when he reports. You don't run missions anymore, you design them. This morning you approved 2 operations and denied a third. The third was too exposed. The reward didn't justify what you'd lose if it went wrong. The Jonin who proposed it pushed back. You listened. You asked him 3 questions. He couldn't answer the second one. He left without arguing further. In the afternoon, a team comes back short. They left with 4. They returned with 3. The missing Chunin is not dead. He was captured. That's worse. You sit with the Jonin who led the team for a long time. You ask everything. When, where, how far into the mission, what he knows about you, about this village, about your employer. By evening, you've made the decision. A recovery attempt is too dangerous. What he knows is too limited to be immediately harmful. You wait and you watch, and if he surfaces in enemy hands, you deal with it then. The Jonin nods. He understands operationally. He doesn't understand it any other way yet. You did once. You don't remember when that changed. You write the name in your ledger. Missing, not dead. Missing. You close the ledger and move to the next briefing. Chunin Examiner. You have seen 300 candidates in the last 2 years. You remember maybe 40 of them. The rest blurred together. Average skills, average instincts, average everything. Average gets people killed, and it gets their teams killed with them. The test you run is not the one they think they're taking. They believe it's about combat, about stealth, about tracking. It isn't. It's about what they do when they believe no one is watching. Today's group is 8 candidates. You've been observing them since they arrived at the waypoint this morning. They don't know the test started then. They think it starts when you give the signal. One of them left his partner to scout ahead without coordinating. One of them found a shortcut that cut through a civilian area and took it without considering what that means. One of them, a girl, noticed you in the tree line 3 hours ago and didn't say anything. She just adjusted her team's route so you'd have less to observe. That one passes regardless of what happens next. By nightfall, you have your results. 2 pass, 6 don't. The 6 will be told they can try again in 6 months. Most of them will. Some will make it eventually. One of them won't, not because he lacks skill, but because he has already decided he deserves to pass, and that belief will get worse, not better. You write your assessments. You don't enjoy this part. You were 21 when you failed your first examination. You remember the walk home. You remember what it cost you to come back. You sign the papers and fold them and hand them to the runner without reading them again. Decisions made are made. Looking back is how you get caught, Spy Master. You have not run a mission in 11 years. You have run 200 of them. There is a difference. The man across from you is your best Jonin. He's here because a mission went sideways. A contact was compromised. 2 of your people were exposed. He wants to know what you're going to do about it. You already know what happened. You knew 3 days ago. You let him come to you because the way a person reports a failure tells you more than the failure itself. He reported cleanly. No excuses. Clear timeline. He named his own mistakes before you could name them for him. That matters. You tell him the contact will be relocated. Your exposed operatives are already being moved. The rival network that burned them has a leak of their own. They just don't know you've found it yet. You'll let them believe they won this round. Comfortable enemies make mistakes. He asks how you know about their leak. You look at him for a moment. You tell him that's not his question to ask. He nods. He understands. There are layers to this work that he may never see. That's not failure. That's structure. Every person in your network knows exactly what they need to know and nothing more. That's not cruelty. That's what keeps them alive. After he leaves, you sit alone and look at the map on your wall. Pins, threads, names only you know. A web that took 20 years to build. You move one pin, you pull one thread. Somewhere in the eastern province, a lord will receive a message that changes his allegiances. He'll think it was his own idea. It wasn't. Shadow. There is no rank above this one. There is no name for it either, not officially. You exist in no record. Your name was removed from every document the day you were chosen. If you die on a mission, there will be no entry in any ledger. No missing, no dead, nothing. You answer to one person. You have never met them in daylight. You have never met them in the same location twice. Your current mission has been running for 2 years. Not 2 days, not 2 weeks, 2 years. You embedded yourself in the target household as a servant. You learned the language, the customs, the rhythms of the house. You eat their food, sleep in their quarters, observe their festivals. The family's youngest daughter taught you a game with stones last winter. You played it with her every evening for 3 months. The intelligence you've gathered has already redirected 2 military campaigns. You don't know this. You're not told what happens to what you send. You observe, you record, you transmit. What it means and what it changes is not your concern. Last week the order came, you read it once and burned it. Tonight the house is quiet. The guards have changed. The daughter is asleep. You move through rooms you know better than you know any room you grew up in. You reach the study. You do what you were sent to do. It takes less than 2 minutes. On your way out, you pass her doorway. The stone game is still laid out on the low table beside her mat. 11 stones in a pattern she was trying to teach you the rules of. You don't stop. You're across the wall before the first bell sounds. You don't look back. That's the rule.